So Beto O'Rourke is gone. He has dropped out of the race. He is no mas.
Bye, Felicia.
I was looking forward to having classrooms where teachers were a reflection of their students.
Classrooms?
Yes, and by that I mean the racial ethnicity of their students. I was so looking forward to that.
Imagine that. A black classroom for the black students. A brown classroom for the brown students. White classroom from the white students, and then all the other colors of the rainbow for the other students.
Because
isn't that
that's
more racist?
Yes, it is.
Than not racist. Like, it's more racist than it actually tries to remove race.
Yeah, well,
Sism.
That's the best way to promote diversity, by separating everybody, according to Beto O'Rourke.
Wow, segregation at its finest.
But he's gone. No mas. We won't have to.
So much for that whole "I was born for this" speech, huh? With the whole Time magazine cover and everything. Born for this.
Yeah, no more Rosetta Stone Espanol at Democratic debates.
Rosetta Stone. That was Google at best.
And we will no longer have to fear the voluntary gun buybacks. He was all for going, hell yeah, we're going to take away your guns. Well, America just told you, hell no. So you're gone. You're no mas. Thank you for
trying. Adios.
See
Gracias. Nos vemos.
Hasta
luego.
But while he's on the outs, there's also another candidate that will also soon be on the outs.
At the White House. Vamos a tratar cada persona con el respeto y dignidad que merecen como humanos.
In Odessa and Midland, there weren't enough ambulances to get to them in time. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-40s.
My trip to the Lexit event. I will tell you what Lexit is, what the organization intends to do, and thank you to Jesse Holguin for creating this event and hosting us. So thank you, great event. I'll get into that in a second. We will then talk about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is unhappy because she views that America is not ready for a black woman president. But really, let's look into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And finally, we will talk about the tragic murders that happened in Mexico on this last Tuesday. Correct? Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, yes.
I thought it was yesterday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday. So, as you find out, a Mormon family was slaughtered by drug cartels. It's a really tragic event for the surviving members of this family. Condolences.
Especially the children who witnessed that.
Children were blasted, if I'm using slang terms, and they were burned.
Okay, don't give descriptions. That sounds horrible.
Yeah. So we'll get
Before
into
we get going, please remember to subscribe to our channel. Please like our pages on social media, which includes Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel for you get the updates. You can get reminders of when our next video is coming up. Please tell your family and friends to follow us, listen to us, or hear a portion of our show. As long as they're informed and you let them know, we're more than happy. Thank you very much. And now let's talk about what is going on. Or what is Lexit about? Not what's going on, sorry. What is Lexit all about?
Okay, so to all you viewers that have been more involved with Lexit, you can correct me at any time in the comments section, right? So
if he butchers it.
If you say that's not what we're about, then please let me know. I invite you guys. But this is what my understanding of Lexit is based on the speakers and based on what I heard this event. So Lexit held a rally last Saturday in Hawthorne, California. Okay, that is near Redondo Beach, near the coastline for all you Southern Californians or just anybody who doesn't know
it's
where
Hawthorne.
It's a
nice, pretty fresh area, right? Like 70s, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of warm, but you know.
I mean, we're burning up here.
Yeah, so
we're burning in California.
But it was great. So this Lexit is a movement where Latinos are exiting the left, or Latinos are exiting the Democratic Party, mainly because this particular group of Latinos have finally realized that the identity politics pushed by the Democratic and the left is not really a resemblance of the core values that makes Latinos. You know?
So were these people previously part of Democrats
So-
or identified as registered Democrats?
So some of them were, some of them like Jesse was known. If you look into his bio and all that, he posted himself as a long life Democrat mainly because of his parents, to bring up his parents. But there were other speakers like Joy Villa, who stated that she was an independent, who then joined the Democratic Party, and correct me if I'm wrong, she became independent again and then joined the Republican Party and started supporting President Trump, mainly because of the reason I just stated, that she was fed up with the identity politics and the lies being fed to her by the left. And those are the stories that we hear from conservative Latinos now today, everywhere. I mean, those that we come across.
So you're talking about the people who identified as Democrats, as liberals,
and
who now analyze their own belief
they
system.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get to. So, but there's also another group that I came to identify. There were immigrants in this event. Immigrants who immigrated to this country. She's known, I forget her name, but she's known as the Red Pill Latina. The
Red Pill Latina?
Yeah. Yeah, so
sounds exotic. Just kidding. I'm just playing. I'm just messing. All right, joke. Pura carrilla, you know. It's like, you know, us Mexicans.
But I forget where she immigrated from.
Pill.
But
sounds evil too.
No, wow, because the red pill, to the blue pill and the blue. Get out of here. So, she said she was an immigrant and she supports the president and the Republic and the right wing movement and the conservative movement because it adheres more to her values. And she pointed out instances where how do the Latinos who immigrated here support the Democratic Party, who supports socialism, who supports high taxes, who supports abortion, who supports many of the things that are in the Democratic platform. And she's like, I can't oppose it because I try to escape all that. How do I leave one country that supports everything that we're seeing from the Democrats and come to this country and support it again, knowing that it failed where I just came from? That was her biggest message, that she left all that to come here for a better life, and then she comes here, and then you have an entire political party advocating the same failed policies she just escaped.
What country did she come from?
I forget where she came from. And I wish I had that in. But
that's pretty much what we've been talking here in MM Talk,
and that's what I was going to get to at the end. But and then I met Paloma for Trump. Now, you probably all seen Paloma for Trump on news sources or news articles. She's the lady that was attacked viciously for basically being a Mexican that supports Trump. And
that's right.
Yeah, and the main reason that she supports Trump is because she is fed up with the violence and the corruption that's in Mexico, things that the president has said, things that we have said here when we discuss why you and I, for example, chose we became conservatives, or why do we say what
we identify as conservatives,
right? How we identify, and it's the same things these people are talking about. You're coming from it's coming from immigrants, it's coming from people across the border, and it's the same thing. Religious values, right? The support for the pro-life, the whole pro-life thing, lower taxes, free market economy. And these are the things that people like Paloma for Trump saying they're not in third world countries, like Red Pill Latina says. They're not in the developing countries. They're not. You have to come here to get it. And we're not going to sit here and tolerate.
It's just pretty much what you're saying. Well, from what I understand, right? Based on what I'm listening to. Because I wasn't at the event. Unfortunately, I had a death in the family, and I had to attend to that. And I was unable to go with Eddie to that event, even though we planned this
months in advance.
But it happens. And we believe family comes first. But from what my understanding is, the Democratic platform now is advertising this platform of socialist democracy, right? And how the promise of equality and promise of wealth and promise of, becoming pretty much to remove all disparities and inequalities, both pretty much financially. And yet, she comes from a country where they literally tried that experiment.
And it failed.
And it literally failed. Yeah. So this whole, everything's going to be fine if we do socialism, everyone's going to be equal in socialism. This ideology that we're we're being told by the Democrats is a false one.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So she's pretty much saying, I come from such this country. It sucked. Why do
are
you
we
guys
having it
think?
here?
What do you
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's gonna work here?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think it's gonna be successful? Right? I'm assuming. Hopefully, I gave the right.
No. That's
paraphrase.
that's pretty much the paraphrase version, and like so that's what attracted us to the whole Lexit movement at a personal level, right? At a personal level, we say, you know what? Let's go listen to why are Latinos going into the conservative movement? Why? What is going on? Because
Or maybe just leaving the Democrats in general.
Even
right?
the Democrats in
Becoming
general,
independents.
becoming independents, or going from independent to Republican and so forth. Like I said, the prime example, Joy Villa, she said, I left the Democratic Party, became independent, then did my research and made my decision, which is what we're here doing at MM Talk, which is the main thing. Like, we want you guys to think. We want you guys to do your own research. We want you guys to go out there and make your own decision because, we're conservative, but
In the words of our parents, ¿para qué fuiste a la escuela?
So,
what did you go to school for?
There's some things that we may come up really strong homebodies in some conservative aspects, but the main point of this show and the main point that I love hearing about these particular set of Latinos and organizations that we're doing our research. We're going out there. We're becoming involved. We're doing our research because what we're being told is not true in the media, and that's what
it's not all about the hype.
Exactly, and that's what we said on. This is the intention of this show. We're trying to take articles, take the news segments, take all those things, and say, well, that's not actually what you're advocating, and that's not actually what happened. Why are you lying to people? Why are you using identity politics? Why are you using all this to inform not just the Latino community, but everybody in general? You know, and for us as Latinos, like I said, we're going to be the biggest voting bloc in the upcoming election, the largest eligible voting bloc in the upcoming election, and we're going in there ill-informed.
Pretty much.
You know, I mean...
Or misinformed.
Or simply are holding on to this bias that...
Emotional feelings, or what we think,
but
or what we see on social media, or what some artist said, or some other artist said, and some influencer. Oh my God!
Yeah. So it's not about having the R or the D at the after your name when you identify yourself politically. Is that what are you looking at to basically try to influence your decision? What are you looking at? Are you looking at media? Are you looking at data? What are you looking at? So that's what I loved about this event, that everybody's saying, you know what? Not only am I holding to my personal beliefs, but I'm also conducting research, and that's how I'm influencing my political decision. And that's what we're trying to advocate to you guys. Look at the information beyond the article. Look at the information look at their sources and question their sources. Then look at their sources. You have to look deep.
I know it sounds hard, and who has the time for it? We all got to go to work. We have kids. If you have kids, careers, schooling, whatever. I know everyone's busy, but I think everyone out there and all of us here are pretty rational people. We're pretty much common sense. Like, if we can understand when someone's giving us bull, right? At a store or a friend or a coworker or a family member. Yeah, that's bull. You know that whole, like, oh, cool story, bro. Remember that whole trend, the cool story, bro? Where, like, I don't believe you, but cool story just to, like, make him feel bad.
Now it's that stupid cat and that lady crying. Like, you know, that whole meme. They have, like, but.
So, what I'm trying to go with this is that we're pretty much smart people. We're pretty much rational and common sense, and you know, we can detect bull from, you know, people around us. I think we can detect when something's bull given by the media, even though they might hype it up, even though they try to force it down. If you see bull on TV, it's bull. If you think it's bull in person, the same thing on TV.
And if you don't have time, like I said, if Jaime says you don't have time, you're working 9 to 5, you're working 2 jobs, tune in to MN Talk.
We'll help you out. We'll break it down for you, make it simple for you, get it down to the nitty gritty, and you ain't gotta worry about it.
We'll do the homework for you. You guys can use us as a cheat sheet, whatever.
Like the meme says. That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem.
Yeah, but that was Lexit.
I'm glad you had a good time out there.
I did. I mean, it was great people. So once again, thank you to Jesse for hosting those rallies here.
Shout out to him and the organization.
So we hope to see you again in some future events. And like
invite us.
And like I said, Latinos, to all the Latinos out there, it's not about party affiliation. You don't have to be a Democrat. You just gotta think and make decisions for yourself. Okay, don't buy into the whole identity politics argument. If that means you turn dependent, kudos to you. If that makes you turn conservative, kudos to you. Whatever you decide. Well, here in MM Talk, we're saying is that think and make those decisions for yourself and what you believe in. Not what some party tells you. Not what Jaime's newest album of
Oh my God! Stop throwing shade on my guy, Kanye West. All right, leave him alone.
Okay, so yeah, just
shout
go
out to Kanye West.
Wow.
Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Okay, this whole millennial. Anyways,
have you listened to his CD?
I'm not listening. I don't listen to rap, bro. I mean,
it's not even rap. It's a gospel.
I haven't listened. Okay, so let's put it. I have not listened to Kanye. Okay, I'm not listening to it, and I'm not gonna diss the album.
All right, cool.
Okay, so
because you haven't listened to it. Anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the next subject. So, Beto O'Rourke out. Gillibrand is out.
De Blasio's out.
De Blasio's out.
Yeah.
These hard fighters. De Blasio, whatever. What is it?
Dude, there's like so many candidates. I forget the guy. Oh, what's the congressman from here?
You just named the casino in Vegas, huh? Bellagio.
Yeah, De Blasio. Yeah, it's De Blasio.
Anyways, so now that Beto O'Rourke is gone, right, Mr. I was born for this.
Born for it,
Mr. The what was he considered? The media called him the new face. Not the new face, the young face, or was it the?
I thought the new face was AOC, but
that's the new. Yeah, I'm like same. I'm misquoting. Sorry, not the new face. The potential to defeat Trump or
whatever. I know it was
something to that degree because he's supposedly Latino.
That's why he was Jorge Ramos' best friend.
Yeah, that's what the best friends. Yeah. But anyway, something to the degree where like this guy can beat Ted Cruz, right? Which he lost to Ted Cruz. But this guy is the only one, not the only one, but one who has a chance to beat Donald Trump, given the way he ran his campaign as a senator or for the Senate. And I remember hearing him talk, we're like, how can you, if you can't beat the guy who lost to the president, what makes you think that you're going to beat the president, right? The sitting president. But, go back to our channel. Anyways, it's not about O'Rourke. Sayonara, O'Rourke. Gracias. Mucho gusto. Hasta luego. Adios, señor. Who is the next candidate who is hinting that he or she's going to drop out?
So, as like I said,
is blaming everyone but themselves.
Yeah, so like usual, the left seems to try to play victim when they can't accomplish something. But as I said, Kamala Harris is now polling.
No. Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris.
The senator from California.
La senadora de California.
The one who has her whole playlist.
Yes.
The one who's cool on social media.
Yeah, the one that
dancing.
She admitted that she smoked weed in college.
Yeah. Who changed her mind on legalization of marijuana.
Yeah.
Even though she was heavily opposed to it. The candidate who supposedly was making justice system reforms, but yet was the biggest enforcer as Attorney General in California. Okay, so what is she pulling at? Because
hold on, let me see.
Kamala Harris. So she's our senator here in California. Congratulations to her for winning it. But I don't think she has a chance. I don't even think she had a chance when she announced. I mean, I think here we said that she's trying to bust Obama. When Obama was a first-term senator,
you did.
And he went to president.
2%.
She's trying to bust that, but we were like, nope, she ain't gonna happen for her.
Yeah, so she's polling at 2% right now. Okay, 2%. I thought it was at 3. So
excuse me, 2%.
Apparently it's 2.
Wow.
So
at least she got 1%.
Well, it's better
some
than
people were still 0.
Yeah, it was. I forgot who the one candidate was. It De Blasio?
I don't know.
It was polling at 0.
Oh,
no, it was that one. It was the congressman from California. He was polling at 0. You remember I told? How do you pull at 0 and get into the debate?
Yeah. I remember him.
So
yeah. I forgot his name, but I know who you're talking
about. So according to Kamala Harris, though, the problem is that apparently America's not ready for black women to become president.
I have also started to perhaps be more candid, talking about what I describe and what I believe to be the elephant in the room about my campaign.
What is that?
Electability.
What do you mean?
Electability. Essentially, is America ready for a woman and a woman of color to be president of the United States?
America was ready for a black man to be president of the United States.
And this conversation happened for him.
Female black president. All right. Let me get this straight. We're not even in the primaries yet.
No.
We're not even close to the general election.
Yes.
This is like the draft season.
Yeah, so in NFL, the best way to quantify the situation is I'm going to start using NFL terms because that's my favorite sport. Okay, right now, this is like the NFL draft, okay? Actually, we're at the combine. We're at the combine, right? We're at the combine. Everybody's getting a feel for the candidates. They can see what their strengths and weaknesses are. As we get closer to these upcoming debates, there becomes the draft because the primary season will become the draft, right?
Yeah. So if you look at it in football,
like Iowa will be like the draft.
That's in January, right?
Yeah, January.
So that'll be preseason.
Yeah, it'll start. Yeah, so right now we're in like combine draft stages. Once you get to the primaries, we're in preseason. Here, we're not even in the we're not even. Where's this preseason, right? And it's only preseason because it's Democrats voting for Democrats. Now
but we're not even preseason though.
Yeah, no, we're not there yet. I mean, still, when you get to the caucuses, it's Democrats voting or independents voting for that Democratic candidate. So we're not even in the primary stages yet, and she's blaming the entire country for her inelectability because she's black. Because she's black. And because she's a woman. First of all, can anybody tell me what gender was Donald Trump's primary candidate opponent in 2016?
White and female?
Oh, just female, right? So we.
Oh, just female. Yeah, that's right.
Check. So a woman. Apparently, the Democratic platform was ready for a woman to become president. Is this the first time? Was that the first time Hillary ran for president? No, because that was the second time. Because in 2008 she ran in the primaries against Barack Obama. So already the Democrats twice have said, you know what, we're ready for a woman to become president. Now the issue of blackness
and a woman.
Okay, so let's now black because you're black. Okay, what was the last president? Anybody want?
Let me think. He was black.
Okay.
Well, he was technically mixed. He was 50-50.
Okay, so Obama's mixed.
But however,
so is Kamala Harris.
We don't identify him as white. We identify him as black.
Okay, so Kamala Harris is also black because she's
not black.
No, she's Jamaican and Indian.
Oh, that's right.
So she is
50-50
mixed, like you said. But
mixed.
Yeah, but when
she's a real minority.
Yes, she's mixed, but she identifies herself as black. You can't call her African American.
Sorry, not like a real minority, like Obama was a minority, but like I meant to say like she's brown and black. Like she's like, minority. Like at least Obama has white and black. He's still a minority, but she's brown and black. So that's like double.
Yeah. So
apparently that makes her not electable.
Yeah, because she's black and she's not a woman. But Barack Obama was also in the same situation where, her mother's from Kansas, so his mother was from Kansas and his dad was from Kenya. Mm-hmm. Still mixed. The whole thing is you're mixed. Yeah, mixed black.
But he identifies as black.
Yeah, but in an interview in 2008 with Steve Croft of 60 Minutes, they asked Obama. Mm-hmm. Do you think, and this is paraphrasing, race will have an impact in your campaign or in your election?
So he's pretty much saying, because you're black, you think that's going to hurt you?
Yeah, and check out this response from then Senator Barack Obama.
You think the country's ready for a black president?
Yes.
You don't think it's going to hold you back?
No. I think if I don't win this race, it will be because of other factors. It's going to be because I have not shown to the American people a vision for where the country needs to go that they can embrace.
So Barack Obama said at the time that the only factor that will, if he loses the election, at the time. The only factor that could have made him lose it is that he wasn't delivering the message, and
He's a poor candidate.
he's a poor candidate.
Which
Never did he mention that race is the factor as to why he would or he would not win the presidency.
So this is Barack Obama, same thing as Kamala Harris, first-term senator, right? Going on 60 Minutes worldwide for 60 minutes, right? And he's telling the world, it's not because if I lose this election, it's not going to be because I'm black. It's because I was a poor candidate.
Which is the reason why people lose in the first place.
So, Kamala Harris, what happened to your campaign? The thing is, people started questioning your legitimacy. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard.
What do you mean legitimacy? You talking about a birthright?
No.
Birth certificate, sir?
No, just me as a candidate. Like,
I'm referencing Obama in 08 when people thought he wasn't really American.
What makes you a legit contender, a legit candidate, or just how strong are you? And we have people like Tulsi Gabbard coming in at you questioning. When people start questioning, well, I mean, you kind of flip-flopped on certain issues, right? And then, they started questioning your character. They're starting questioning how viable are you when there's rumors about how you got into your prominent position, okay? All that.
I remember that. We spoke about that here.
We're not going to talk about that again. You can tune to our previous episode of Women Talk, right? But all those things, you were exposed as a person. And maybe the electorate just said, you know what? We don't think you're strong enough.
Pretty much, she's a poor candidate.
She's a poor candidate, and it reflects on the polls, right? It reflects on the polls because you're
of your own party.
So this is what upsets me right now with candidates right now, like Kamala Harris, who is trying to play the race card and the gender card at the same time. Okay, she's playing two cards at once, so she's splitting the bill on two cards as to why she can't be elected president.
So now we're all misogynistic.
Yeah, apparently America's still run by men, and two
are still racist.
And no, let's put it this way: America's still run by rich white men who don't want women to be president, or just rich men who don't want a woman to be president.
That sounds more dramatic.
More dramatic.
Sounds more hateful.
Okay.
Sounds like this country's still full of hate.
Well, and it's not that at all. You had a president who you basically had almost yours not similar kind of resume, first-term senator who said, no, race has nothing to do with it. It's just that I won't be a strong candidate. And
which all candidates and politicians should realize. It's not about your gender. It's not about your race. It's about the messaging of your campaign. It's about what kind of a candidate you are and how you relate to voters. That's how.
Yeah.
Like, the excuse that she's using in that interview, that she's pretty much blaming the country for being racist and misogynist. I can't even pronounce it right now.
Misogynistic.
Yeah, that. Without even making it to the general election.
But she's
becoming a sole loser like Clinton.
It's not the biggest issue.
Clinton blames everyone else. The Russians and blames.
No, let's check out. The problem is she's trying to blame America, but it's your own base that's to blame. Like Jaime says, this is the draft season. This is preseason. It's your own party that doesn't want you. It's the Democrats. It's not America. It's not me because I would not be voting for you. It's not Jaime because I know he's not voting for you. And we're not even Democrat. We're
not even going to count in the primaries.
So, it's your own Democratic Party who says, you know what? And it's funny because why is she not going after the squad? AOC and Ilhan Omar endorsed Bernie Sanders after this whole cockamania.
Thank you.
After this whole cockamania of, the country should not be controlled by rich old white men. Okay, whatever. Let's forget about that part. And then you had
the same squad.
No. Then you had Ayanna Pressley and go endorses Elizabeth Warren.
Who cares? She's embracing a woman.
Thank you. She's embracing a woman. She's embracing a Native American woman. Right? And
wait, she's not Native American. Remember
Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren identifies herself.
She tested. She failed that damn test.
She failed. Oh, well, she identifies herself.
1,000th of 1,000%. Wow.
So
I guess.
Ayanna Pressley endorses a woman, right? And then your squad members on the other side embrace her.
She's not pretty much of that squad.
She's the least known, but she's considered part of the squad. It's 4 of them. It's the Talib.
No, I know that. But I mean, Kamala Harris is not identified with the squad. The squad is over here advocating women should be more in government. And
it goes to my point
color.
again. It goes to my point.
So
you had a woman in power of color and all those requisites pointed out by the squad, and then they go vote and they go endorse Bernie Sanders. The other one just endorses a woman. My thing is, it's your own people.
Pretty much, you can't even attract your own support base.
And you want to blame America? How about you blame your candidacy? How about you blame your campaign manager,
Just own
your
up to the
strategic
fact
team?
that you're not doing well as a candidate.
Instead of going, well, there you go, shaking your head again at 15 million miles an hour.
Not only that, she laughs at everything.
No, she always does this. Well,
she always laughs.
Yeah, but she's like,
didn't finish her own statement.
The problem is that I'm a woman and I'm black. No, it's not that. Nobody cares if you're black because Obama.
Maybe she's still butthurt from that one clip we showed here. Remember
what?
Where she's like, "Are you guys ready for a black
woman?"
And the guy,
and that wasn't a warning sign because that was at your own rally. Wait, she's like,
that was at her own rally.
I love that. She's like, let's have some real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have some real. Is America ready for a Harris presidency? You're like, no. Wow, that should have been a sign right there. And it's not because you're black or you're a woman. You're simply a poor candidate. Nobody likes what you stand for. Nobody likes your views on abortion. Nobody likes your views on free healthcare for illegal aliens, or maybe within your party. I don't know what it was within your party, because this is your own party telling you basically negative. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I told her she was going to run, but she wasn't going to win.
Yeah, we knew that from the beginning.
So, but you're on your way out.
She can't bust Obama. And obviously right now, she ain't busting no Obama.
You're at 2%. You're out of here. You're done.
Ms. Kamala Harris, our beloved senator, well, not beloved, but our senator, with all due respect, just drop out. But don't blame the American people.
Blame your Democrats.
For your poor strategic...
Blame Democrats.
Political strategy, all right? It's not because you're black. It's not because you're a woman. It's that you're trying too hard to be liked. And it looks fake. It feels fake. It feels so shallow. I mean, I've seen the videos you posted. I've seen, your interviews, and you go on shows and you talk and you laugh. It seems so fake. It seems so fake. And like we just told you guys earlier, it looks like bull. Some bull. It looks like bull on TV. We, the people, are going to be like, that's bull.
Yeah. No,
so it's not because you're a woman or you're black.
And it's not America. It's your party.
Dude, this is the draft season. It's not even
it's the NFL draft. I'm sorry. You're like a 7th round pick now.
So I thought the Democrats weren't racist. I mean, if Democrats were really not racist, if they really wanted minorities to be
she made
up there,
it about race.
She would have been the top runner. But we have a white man as a top... Two white people... Two white men and a white woman
as
a front runners, and a white woman as a front runner. So what does that say about the Democratic Party? Are they really that
what happened to the whole diverse platform? Because I know Cory Booker is also not polling well, so he's almost on his way out. Julian Castro, I don't know if he's
Julian Castro.
He said, well, if I don't raise so much money, I'm on my way out. Pete Buttigieg, I don't know where you're at. That's the gay guy. So you have the gay guy, the Latino, and the black people almost exiting this race.
So pretty much the candidates who represent the same groups of people that the Democratic Party embraces and defends and supports and looks after are being booted out of the before the primaries. And the ones who are making it to the primaries is the white woman who everyone trashed that they voted for Trump, and the white man who everyone trashed that they're running the country and they're racist. Those same people that you attacked at the 2016 election are the same people the Democratic Party are pushing.
Let me put it to you this way.
Wow.
Let me put it to you this way. The Democrats rather
don't say it.
Leave the minorities, which they are embracing, like you said, and probably endorse the guy.
Up for.
And they endorse the guy that speaks to walls,
to the screen,
to screens. They want to endorse that guy, the guy who. I mean, so where where is this hypocrisy end? Like, you're trying to blame America, but it's your own people. But your own people are not even once again, not buying into this whole diverse movement. Because probably Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, and Elizabeth Warren are perhaps stronger candidates just in themselves. And they probably can deliver the message better than you can.
At least they sound more. Well, not Biden. Biden sounds like an old man who just talks.
I'm just going about what's
telling
going on.
Old war stories.
Yeah, well, he's
at least Sanders has a history of consistency. Warren, well, she's making him. She looks more wholesome, I guess. I don't know. She doesn't seem as fake as Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris seems so fake and so forced. I'm like watching her. I'm like, ugh. You know, I don't even know how she won senator. Anyways, so, let us know what you think below. Let us know what you're into.
Is Kamala Harris right? You guys think it's all about race, or is she simply a poor candidate? You heard our opinion. We want to hear yours. Leave those comments below. So
and now let's go to our neighbor down the south. So a couple of weeks ago, we discussed what happened with the one of El Chapo's son, who was captured by the military, was later released under the threat by the cartel to kill innocent lives if they didn't release him. So he's out, free as a man, free as can be. Now we continue to have a cartel problem. Mm-hmm. Now, cartel violence has gone in Mexico for many years now, ever since the start of the marijuana drug trade, and then from the hard narcotics and so on and so forth up to the synthetic drugs that we have today. Majority of that is produced and shipped from Mexico to the United States, right? Now, we still have a problem of cartel violence, right? And unfortunately, we give our condolences and our prayers and just our prayers and condolences. I mean, I repeated myself because what more can you do with such a loss? And where can you find justice? How can you find justice for such a loss? Right? It's tragic. And those kids, I mean, they're what? They're in
I heard one
Phoenix.
was like almost like a 6-year-old, I believe. Whatever it was. I mean, these kids were young, and it's just to hear. I mean, I know I mentioned some of the ways they were found, and it's just horrible. It's horrible. I can't.
It's tragic.
It's tragic, and of course, I heard the responses from the president to, of course, to response to that. But
AMLO?
No, I'm talking about
Trump?
President Trump. And how people are trying to seek justice, but it goes to show you. Now, a lot of people are pointing out the history of this Mormon family, right? But I want to get into that because it alludes to some of the conversations that we've had here. I'm not here to talk gun control law and the essence that I'm advocating for or against, but I want to talk about the importance of perhaps having some method or way of defending yourself.
You mean the citizens?
The citizens, just citizens on both sides of the border. And this is what I want to talk to, because a lot of you who say, well, how can we stop drug violence if the United States is feeding guns to the drug cartels? And the other side is saying, well, the citizens have the right to defend themselves by having arms and all that. And those are basically the two arguments, right? When it comes to just trying to like say, arm the citizenry, you prevent violence, right? And the other side say, no, it's through basically stopping the flow of guns into Mexico that will stop all that. And I'm like,
okay, I see.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
The cartel violence is fueled by illegal guns smuggled into Mexico from the United States, right? That's one argument. The second argument is what again?
Citizenry, being armed citizenry, to protect themselves, to basically not just defend themselves, but to.
I think those are two different playing fields, no?
What do you mean?
Because one is, how do you stop the violence in
Yeah, so...
Okay, so two ways to stop the violence.
Is to arm the citizen.
Either one, stop the flow of not illegal, stop the flow of guns from the north to Mexico, from U.S. to Mexico. And the other is, if the Mexican citizens had the right to bear arms,
yes,
they can use that to defend themselves and have most likely at least not be so brutally murdered and terrorized.
Yeah, give themselves
by
a
the
chance.
cartel.
Yeah, give themselves a chance. And then
Self-defense, right?
Self-defense, yeah.
Okay, I see what
This
you're
is
doing.
all I'm arguing is self-defense here. I'm not here to advocate for one side. I'm arguing self-defense, and this is what bothers me from when you have situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
This Mormon family had faced cartel violence before.
For generations, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the wealthy families
Yeah,
in Chihuahua,
yeah.
right?
Sonora, yeah.
Sonora or Chihuahua?
Sonora, yeah. So they said when I was looking into this that this family was opposing gang cartel violence back to 2009, and the best way to protect themselves was to smuggle weapons from the United States to Mexico due to Mexico's strict gun control laws.
They're really strict in Mexico.
And I'm like,
there's literally one gun store in the entire country.
so it's bad enough that you hear about drug cartels smuggling guns into Mexico, but for people not to defend themselves, they're also smuggling guns into Mexico. That's where I have a problem, and that's where I have the problem with the strict gun control laws. You're not allowing good people with guns to defend themselves. Okay? I pointed this to Jaime earlier before we started the show about that CDC study that showed that 2 million Americans, this was done in the 90s and never became to fruition because of what the results said. And
Pretty much they're trying to keep information.
Yeah, so it basically stated, right, that the CDC found that 2 million Americans basically lives were saved because they used guns to defend themselves, right? They had weapons to defend themselves. That's an astounding number of Americans to hear that 2 million Americans were able to keep their lives by using basically by using a gun. There was a story a couple days ago where a pregnant mother used an AR-15 to defend themselves.
Who?
Look it up real quick. It was a pregnant mom using AR-15.
Was it her house?
Yeah, it was at her house. She basically stopped the burglar. I think it was the daughter. Hold on, Jaime will look it up right here. But it says pregnant. Yeah, it was a mom. You see, pregnant mom. Yeah, so a pregnant mom uses AR-15 to defend family. You see what I mean? So defense. See, the guns are by defense. We can't stop bad people from using the same type of weaponry to do bad things. But
Because they're not going to obey the law.
They're not going to obey the law.
It's the idea that, okay, if we make a law, they're going to abide by it. If we make a law, people are going to be less likely to commit it, right? Have you ever... It's like speed limits. Why do people get speeding tickets? Tell me. If writing down a law and saying you can't go here in California above 65 miles per hour on the freeway, that's the max. Why do people get speeding tickets? Why? Because we break the laws, right? Everyone, one point in their life, whether you deny it or don't, whether you got a speeding ticket or you haven't got a speeding ticket, whether you got caught or haven't got caught, everyone has driven above 65 miles per hour at some point. Some might do it every day. Some might do it, in emergencies, whatever. But everyone at least once in their lifetime has driven above 65 miles per hour.
Yeah.
They literally broke the law. But the law didn't stop you from committing the crime or the violation, right? Well, you call it a crime because it's a law.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to.
I'm not saying like, you're a criminal, but you violated the law, which considers it's a penalty. So by making gun laws saying, you can't buy these guns or you can't access these guns or you're prohibited from these guns, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to listen to it. If they're going to get the gun, they're going to get the gun.
Yeah.
If they're going to commit a crime with the weapon, they're going to do the crime with the weapon. Like gun-free school zones. Okay, if that law, I know this is touching a really soft topic, but gun-free zones. You have a sign that says gun-free zones, right? Gun-free zone in every school in America. That alone has not stopped gunmen from going into schools and shooting them. Okay, it has not. As tragic as it is, as terrible as events were, it has not stopped the criminal or the perpetrator from committing a crime. So, what? You can write as much laws as you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Mexico.
That's what I'm trying to. You're trying to.
Criminals
You point out everything I'm trying to get to when I get upset and listening to this debate. I'm not saying you put your gun laws to try to find the bad people. Go for it, but we already have them. Universal background checks, right? I said if you want to make things better, maybe work between government agencies how they share information. Maybe those red flag laws are terrible. Okay, just because somebody starts walking weird, you're gonna call the police. Hey, that guy's walking. He's not walking like a zombie for all I know. But
remember that one time where people got upset that white people were calling the cops on black people for barbecuing? Remember how people
so what I'm trying to say
red flag laws could end up that way.
So universal background checks and all that. Look, the way that the weapons are being smuggled into Mexico are being done through legal means. It's they're hiring people with clean backgrounds to go, so they're working the system. That's illegal, yes. But, I mean, their intentions are fundamentally illegal, but they're using legal means to do it. So you're going to say switch it. But then switch it to what? You can make it as strict as you want. You can make it as whatever way you want. It's not going to work. Especially in our society that has been embedded with the security of guns from government. This society is not going to stray away from that. We can show you the statistics and all that. It's not going to stray away. Okay, the CDC report also said that more people were inclined to get permits to purchase guns for that particular reason because they feel safe. It's something to feel safe by. Mm-hmm. In Mexico, they don't even have that capability due to the strong restrictions that they have, and you have these events taking place. Now, this is not one of those events where these people didn't have guns. Maybe at the moment they didn't have them. They're known to have the guns, but what did I say? They have to do it through illegal means. So even to protect yourself, you have to go through illegal means to protect yourself. Here in America, you're trying to remove the legal action of protecting yourself. You see what I mean? In Mexico, they're violating to protect. In America, we already have it, but they're trying to remove. Mm-hmm. And that makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. So when you have these armed organizations, transnational crime organizations, whatever you call them, how do you defend yourselves? How do you defend yourselves at home? That's all it is.
And the sad part is that, unfortunately, the people who suffer the most are innocent lives, innocent people, innocent civilians who have nothing to do or were just in the wrong place at the wrong time who end up suffering the most. And that's the tragic part. So, how does Mexico control this? We don't have the answer for that. But we do have some opinions of what could work. Like we mentioned earlier, one of the things is stop the flow of guns into Mexico. Okay, let's say we do that, right? Now let's say that all of a sudden, the Border Patrol sets up checkpoints at America's exits, right? And scans for guns, okay? They're scan for gun, they scan for gun, they scan for gun. Let's say they do end up catching stuff, but it's too many people traveling across the border on a daily basis that it's just if they catch it, they catch it. If they don't, they don't. You know? And it's going to be the same thing. Just the way they smuggle drugs into the United States, they're going to find ways to smuggle guns into Mexico. All right? So, let's say that they stop that. Does that solve the problem? It could. It could not. We don't know.
Honestly, I think it has to change.
But it's not going to work, actually.
One of the things you have to probably...
What we highly support is this position is that if citizens can bear arms and be able to defend themselves, the cartel are less likely to just randomly kill people for the sake of killing.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, like I said, loosen your strict gun control laws. Put the screening processes that a lot of us here in America love, right? You're still going to get your bad people, you're still going to get your bad apples, but you have a screening process, right? You get your guns to registers and all that, but you're allowing your citizenry to be armed, okay? You will have more than one gun store in your country, stuff like that. Maybe you can reduce the level of violence because people will not take this nonsense anymore, okay? That's one way. Now, a lot of people have said, well, why don't we put... since they attack Americans, why don't we put drug cartels in the terrorist watch list or identify them as a terrorist organization? You guys gotta understand that drug cartels, although they have a lot of traits that will make them look like a terrorist organizations, cannot be labeled by the current definition. Because the current definition of a terrorist organization is an entity that seeks to remove and replace and in place a political ideology or a political movement. The drug cartels have no business, don't want anything to do with politics. And the only politics that they want to be involved in is the politics that allows them to stay in power. Well, Eddie, isn't that just changing the political status quo and make the argument that it should be a drug organization? No. Because if you still take that argument a step further, it's to protect the business. They put the players they want to protect their business. Okay, it's not about it's not about them putting themselves into power. It's allowing them for them just to keep running their business. So who will allow me to run my business, right? So drug cartels. So hold on, it froze a second. Oh, it froze on me. It froze.
That's not good.
Okay, there we go. So, excuse me. So, as I was saying, that drug cartels are basically big illegal pharmaceutical lobbies in Mexico, if you want to put them right, trying to influence, right, keep political figures
more money in their pockets.
Yeah, just more money in their pockets. They don't care who's the president of Mexico. They're like, okay, who's going to allow us to keep running our business? Okay, they're done. Okay, pay them. That's it.
Just like pharmaceutical companies in the United States give to campaigns to candidates who are gonna make laws make laws that are favorable.
Because
to them.
the one step by the current definition, the one step that these cartels have not taken is having a leader or somebody that says, I represent the narcos of Mexico now within the government. You have that, and you have the current insurgencies with them in Mexico.
Pretty much, there's no interest group.
There's no interest. But I'm trying to say is like you don't have that political branch that says we identified this is what we're trying to do for the cartels, right, in Mexico. You do that, then you can start labeling as a terrorist organization. You don't have that.
It's not a political. They're not trying to sway the political.
Yes.
Status quo.
Exactly.
They just want to keep making money.
Exactly. So to change that, you're gonna have to change the definition
and not go to jail.
So when you see President Trump and I'm glad that he even just offered his services to the Mexican government with services, right? He offered
military intervention. U.S. military
intervention in Mexico.
Not intervention. It was advice, right?
Let's say advice, but saying, let's fight an army with an army. You saw his quote, right? That's all good and dandy, right? But do you really know what you're getting yourself into? Yeah, we have the history in Cali, Medellin, right? You had the history here with the DEA agent here in Mexico too, but that's a long-lasting war, and that's a whole different subject when you have to start attacking strategy of demand here in the United States and so forth. So it's not as easy as just sending troops into Mexico to quell the cartels, and it's not as easy to label them as a terrorist if you really do not understand the cartel network. And that's why I said you can't, as of this time, you really can't call them a terrorist organization. They're horrible people, but you can't call them a terrorist organization by definition. And that's why you can't do that, and it sucks. It's terrible, but you can't do it. But also when you hear the president's like, yeah, that sounds great, but sending troops into there might make it another prolonged war that, another endless war, you want to call it too, right? You really have to go in there with a clear strategy and knowing the network too.
And it's going to be hard to eradicate anyways.
Yeah.
Because
it's a difficult topic.
Now you have corruption, you have to deal with corruption, police being paid off, getting paid by the cartel, information. Even when the son of Chapo was captured, supposedly the cartel had received warning beforehand of what was going to happen. So it's like, even if you have a strategy and U.S. goes in there and provides military advice on how to stop these cartels, there's someone in the inside who is being bought, threatened by the cartel, who's going to leak the information to them, and they're going to be ready for whatever comes to them. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
And I think the most important part is citizens be able to have, and what we believe here is citizens be able to defend themselves, to bear arms to defend themselves. And maybe, like we said, they're not less likely to attack just a random person.
Yeah.
It's easier to attack a police officer or someone else from the different cartel because you're like, okay, we assume they're gonna have guns, so we're gonna kill them.
Yeah.
But when the average person, you don't know who has a gun and who
That's
does.
crazy, yeah.
Just
It
like,
just makes it like, yeah.
Let's not get
So, I mean, we're not saying that's a solution, but it's maybe a step forward where you can reduce just not drug violence, but just violence in Mexico, you know. But it's something you got to keep a look on. So this was a terrible tragedy, but when you're trying to make this about gun control laws, you really have to look at what's going on. It's not so easy as, well, it's because we in America we have a Second Amendment right, or, well, you know, if everybody had a background check, it's not that. We have that. You have to understand networks and how they work in order to say, you know what, there's a problem down there, you know, and now it starts with the citizenry maybe not being eligible to have the guns. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so it's a tragic loss. We wish the best for the children who have survived such an attack, who witnessed what happened, and they lived to survive it, lived to tell what happened. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, the trauma, I can only imagine. I can't even imagine, to be precise, of the trauma they are facing currently for the loss of what they saw, what happened, the conversations, the screams, the horror. I mean, I don't even want to. Yeah. But our prayers go out to the family. Our prayers go out to the children who are in the hospital right now, recovering from the attack, who have survived. And let's do our best to help them out in whatever we can. And thank you for tuning in to NMM Talk.
But leave your comments below too. Leave your comments below on this subject, because I want to get you guys' opinion on how can we attack this whole gun violence and just cartel violence, even if it affects us. How do we how do we do it? Leave your comments below. But go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, leave your comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know what you think about our podcast, what you like, what you want to discuss more, or what we didn't make clear. Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you very much. We are your host, Jaime Moreno.
Andy Marmolejo.
And remember, we're tired of it too.